Let us assume we are going to learn AI in one very productive session. Google is in front of you and you are going to find out all the resources that you understand regarding AI. So first thing, to start it from the basic, I'll go to Wikipedia's website, and here I'm going to search for artificial intelligence. So let's study 4 minutes and try to understand what is it. So I just look at the Wikipedia artificial intelligence page, and after reading 5 minutes, it's a very long page. 2-3 sectors are interesting. Number one, the history, how AI is developed. Digging into the history will help you to learn deeper understanding of the technology. You can utilize it in advanced level, but most of the small businesses require AI tools who can use the AI tools and solve their day-to-day business related issue like outreach, content optimization, and video content, image content generation, especially generative AI related points. So confidence over the tools will give you opportunity to use those tools for helping businesses, and that is how business can give you some kind of earning. But anyway, that is not a problem. Main problem is that this is a knowledge area, and as an intellectual guy, if I want to digest this, I need to sit down and look at the things going on. So let us focus on what is the application of it, what is the philosophy behind this, and then we'll move toward history, look at various type of books. This is the outline, and the time to time I'm going to ask few questions, and those questions will guide me to make the conversation fruitful and focus on learning. So AI is mimicking human intelligence. Human intelligence need to know how AI work. Then human intelligence can use AI to increase more productivity. Now I understood the definition of AI, and I want to explain it to a 10 years old. It is a computer system. Let us I am building a computer system, and I'm making this computer system so intelligent that it can learn, it can explain by reasoning, it can understand a problem and find a solution of solving the problem by digging various sources from where there is a solution available. And also it has the capability to do some prediction and decision making. So these are the area where AI can help. These are in two formats: text-based response, image-based response, or it can start working based on some instruction, and it can do web search, writing email, sending email, or if there is an human intervention, then it will wait for the human response so that it can make more context. So we all know that writing a good prompt can solve a problem. That is a well-known thing. But how to write a good prompt, that will come to this area. Let us assume that you are an AI model. So you have some knowledge. You can do all those tasks that AI can do. Now, one thing we need to understand, did you ever try to make a knowledge representation of your own skill set? Let us assume your resume is your knowledge representation. So it is an hypothetical technical project manager's knowledge representation, and it is working like an AI. So we can divide the knowledge representation into three major areas. One, say the technology, tech. So what are these tech? Like coding, how application work, how it communicate with the user and send response based on the requirement. So these are the tech, that how various part of an application, break it down and try to understand how various section is working. Then another thing is design. Design means you want to make it more user friendly so that user can understand how to use this app. And another skill set is like you have the tech knowledge, you have the design knowledge, you want to solve a problem, and for problem solving, let's consider you have a project management skill. Now, what is your knowledge area? In tech, like programming. Now, business are demanding who want to hire you. They are also demanding you must have a AI, artificial intelligence implementation skill. You are going to implement artificial intelligence to make the productivity or operation of the organization fast in all sector. So as a human, you have a recipe of doing these tasks, like a step-by-step process. Here you want to reduce the effort, that is repetitive tasks that kill your time and giving less productivity. Design requires some ideas. You have inspiration from different ideas. So design involved in everything. You want to create 5 minutes video for promotion. These are so expensive tasks. Brand use thousands of dollars for just creating a small promotional video that can make real impact when it is running under some campaign. So this video production, let us assume the video production, and you want to channelize your content to different platforms, and for marketing and promoting the content, different platforms has some own set of rules, and studying all this set of rules is a time-taking process. Here AI can help you with this. So during design and project management, AI can be helpful for seeking the answer. Generally, we go to Google and ask specific question to get an answer. That was common when there was no AI. People were depending on Stack Overflow and other internet-based resource, YouTube, to get a tutorial that demonstrate the thing. But now you can get an answer from AI, and just you need to verify whether it is true or false. So how AI works, if you have the confidence, then you can utilize it in a better way, right? So let's move to our next slide. So this information science, like it is a part of how to represent the information. It is called ontology, where you want to manage a complex data, and you also at the same time you want to organize it in such a way that there is a connection between those area of knowledge. Here, classes and concept, the primary category of this type exists in a domain. So when we are talking about one particular domain of area, we are actually picking up some vocabularies related to this domain. Then there is a relationship between all those specific word and concept. Doctor has and patient has a relationship with a symptom and a disease. So there are some attributes. So that is the attributes belong to a concept. So this ontology is useful like a tree structure when it is representing a tree structure. What happens if this knowledge representation is utilized by AI program, and this representation actually help them to find the reasoning? But as a learner, how it is helpful for you? Because it is helpful for you because you can write good quality prompt if you have understanding of this knowledge representation. And actually you want to solve a problem, and when you think symbolically which one is connected to what and how to write the good prompt, you give more context to the AI so that it can give you better solution. Let us put it in this way. Once upon a time, when there was no AI and no computer, mathematicians were hired to solve problems that are operation related, that are kind of decision making or solving a problem for bank, industry, military operation, etc. So the big mathematicians use various type of technique and algorithm to solve a problem in terms of decision making, in terms of finding out the encrypted text into the real information. So Since mathematics is based on many theorems, since mathematics is based on many proof of those theorems, and they constantly have a belief. Let's take example of Alan Turing. He has a belief that we can program a machine in such a way that it can get trained based on some data, and it in future it can solve a problem which is unknown to him or this machine, who, because it is already trained in similar kind of work, it can do the same work. Let us take an example of a chef. He is trained of master chef. He is trained to cook any kind of food, whether it's Chinese, Indian, or Lebanese, etc. Now when he has all sort of recipe in his mind, and you just go and ask this master chef, cook a nice pizza for me, or a fantastic dish which is your favorite dish, he can easily pick up the ingredients and then present the dish in front of you. The same thing happen in case of LLM model. When you ask a question, it solve the problem similarly. Let us try to understand this graph. Like here you can see a blue line. What is this blue line indicates? When price is low, quantity of supply, this is represented the quantity of supply, and the red line is representing the quantity of demand. Let us take example of this point. At the very initial point, we see the price is very high because the supply is very low. Very easy to understand. Then we can see at this point supply is very high, demand is very low. Let us take example of the current situation. Like now, low tech or average mediocre tech guys are available around the world, because you learn some tech, some coding, you can do some sort of task. Supply is very high, but the demand is now very low, because industry don't need those engineers, mediocre average guys who can solve a problem using some support and other things, or ready to use code. And see, there is a point which is known as the equilibrium, where the demand and supply is almost same. So this illustrates the intersection of supply and demand curve as a free market equilibrium. So there is a big theory, in fact, available in mathematics, which is known as the game theory. And this game theory is used by in big industry, and it is a very good tool for decision making. So here in this history, what we have learned, that game theory address two persons zero sum games, and in which the participants gain and lose are exactly balanced by the losses and gain of the other participant. So in the 1950s, it was extended to the study of non-zero sum games, and was eventually applied in a wide range of behavioral relation. So game theory, no doubt a very big, so there was a big book published by Princeton Press in 1944 on the theory of game and economic behavior by John Vaughan and the economist Oscar. So this theory is a part of like master degree level mathematics, where economist, then mathematician, statistician learn this theory and apply this in research paper in various type of journal. How exactly this game theory is used by AI? Let us think about a multi-agent system and an agentic an environment with multiple interactive agents. The multi-agents mean you assign the task to different AI agent, and they are independently working, also helping other agent in the system. So individual actions impact the global system. So game theory is used for the equilibrium situation to ensure the system is stable and optimized for the outcome. So this is also known as the generative adversarial network. Game theory is underlying engine behind GNA. So this image illustrates how model transfer their learning when they are utilizing for similar kind of tasks. Say one set of data is passed to a model and it gives a result for one specific task. So from that work it has already learned something. Now when you are adding a second set of data and asking the model to the same task, now it can use his previous learning, what he has learned in these new tasks, and it will be faster and more efficient. So this is called learning transfer. So when it is applicable, because there are some situations when you need to categorize a lot of data in according to their particular attribute. So let us take example of this image. When an AI model is trying to separate two different images, one is in square shape and one is in triangle shape. In supervised learning, the training data is already marked up with some labeling. This is square, this is triangle. In unsupervised learning, these are not labeled data. So the algorithm decide which are similar attribute and it can separate the similar kind of items together. So here the interesting part is the supervised learning and unsupervised learning. These are concepts related to machine learning. What is exactly machine learning? It is a study of programs that can improve their performance on a given task, and it has been a part of AI from the beginning. So initial time when the AI was started 40 years ago, that was cold period of AI, and now after 2022 it is a boom of AI. There are supervised learning that analyze the stream of data and find the pattern and similarity in the data. So it is basically a prediction, helpful for the prediction. In supervised learning, you are getting labeled data for training the model, and there are two main variety. One is classification, where the program learn to predict what category it input or belong to, and another is regression, where the program must based on some numeric input. So basically regression is like giving some weightage to each item based on this quality kind of thing. So why exactly this is required? To make machine learning ready for AI, which is a part of which is a subset of AI knowledge. Here natural language processing is a program where actually you are trying to understand human language, and then it is utilizing face recognition, speech synthesizes, machine translation, etc. But are these knowledge helpful for you when you are using generative AI, using some prompt and want to specify some specific tasks? I think in generative AI based work, it is very important how patiently you are interacting with AI, and it is your creativity, how you framing your prompt. So linguistic skill is more important there. What is the behind the scene knowledge? I don't think it is required for a expert who is capable to utilize generative AI tool to produce some good quality content, as long as he is not writing code for a robot solving a specific task. So it is very interesting that search and optimization, these are two technique that AI researcher widely use than in their work. So it is like local search, state space search. What is exactly local search? It is a mathematical optimization when you are I think, let me guess, when you are dealing a big set of data, a huge amount of data, then how to make this search more efficient, because end of the day when you are generating some content, you are doing a search and you want to get the right information very quickly. So instead of looking at the exact meaning of a word, you are considering a word as a number and trying to find most similar kind of word in the form of a number. So that is how they generate actually an answer when you ask a question. So during this process, generally a lot of computing and energy is used, and for generating those computing energy, electricity is used, but that is an impact in our society of using. Now there are some logic behind this, no doubt. So what are these logic that work for AI? I think this logic is clear when we look at the encyclopedia. And I was in university, and in our library we have a big set of books as encyclopedias. Now I want to know one information about, say, one theory application of vector. It is a mathematical concept in linear algebra. So how to find this from the encyclopedia? There was no search engine that time. So how to solve this? So basically I need to relate that this topic is about mathematics, and it is under what kind of mathematics? Linear algebra. So I'll find this information in an encyclopedia which is relevant to that topic. So there is a science, culture, arts. So here is an tree structure that shows the possible hierarchical organization of an encyclopedia. So a long time ago, when there was some kind of knowledge management, it was like that. It's tree structure. There is a mind map. You can consider it like a mind map, which particular information is belong to what. So there are another example which is known as this situation. I want to solve a problem. So if they say problem number 2 has two solutions, let us consider this is 7 and 5. Now if you choose 7, then there are 3 possible solutions, 2, 10 and 6. If you choose 6, there are 2 possible solutions, 5 and 11. So this is a tree structure, and this kind of tree structures logic is applied by AI to get the answer. And everything here somehow dominated by some statistical theory. So here one very famous statistical theory is probability. So let us read this section. I'll explain this. Many problems in AI requires the agent to operate with incomplete, uncertain information. That means you are asking something, the model has no answer about this. Now how he is going to answer it? So AI researchers have diverse a number of tools to solve this problem using the method from probability theory of belong to statistic. Very simple example is like toss a coin, there is probability of getting head 50%, tail 50%, like this, because there is two only option. So mathematical tools have developed to analyze how the agent can make choices and plan using our decision analysis and information value theory. So these theories were already there and it were invented by statisticians. Now the field of science is using them for their model. There are Bayesian network is a what exactly Bayesian network is a statistical model, probabilistic model, graphical model that represent a set of variable and their conditional dependencies by a dedicated cyclic graph. So let us find a Bayesian network definition here, and say it will be better if we want to see some images, say this one, and a new tab, say human. So this kind of image sometimes represents a relationship of different information, how one particular information is helpful to take a decision and relate it to another information. Like it is obviously this person has cholesterol issue or some other symptoms. So from one information it is predicting another information. And there are fine mathematical theories available on this, but we are not going to that direction because I don't want to discuss a pure math on this, just exploring what is the possibilities. So let us explore some of the famous books that were written. When we talk about artificial intelligence, what is artificial consciousness? Consciousness is known as the machine consciousness, a digital consciousness. It also corresponds to the field of study that growing inside for from philosophy of mind, philosophy of artificial intelligence, cognitive science, and neuroscience. So what is actually the philosophical view? As there are many hypotheses like type of consciousness, there are many potential implementation of artificial intelligence, and it in this philosophical literature, perhaps the most common taxonomy is consciousness is into axis and phenomenal variant. Now let us try to understand this diagram. So it's a human brain looking at something. If consciousness depend on materials, experience will be slowly change. Then and dancing quella scenario. So switch between normal brain function and the silicon duplicate of brain reason. There are, I think, some example that explain some hypothesis and then trying to solve it with the explanation. So definitely a large group of algorithm is working behind the artificial intelligence. These are known as the artificial intelligence algorithm. They are categorized for searching, automated reasoning, then knowledge representation and reasoning, planning, machine learning, deep learning, then natural language processing, computer vision. So all these areas are developing very fast because the power of computer is increased. Earlier those theories were established by human, but because of the low power computer, those were not able. So A star theory, these are the search and optimization related, because at fast search we can get better solution fast, right? So there's 3S theories. There are some evolution of computation and bio-inspired methods. So really, when you need to learn these theories, are you going to utilize these to build a new wheel again? I don't think so. So come on. Machine learning has like 50 different kind of algorithm, more than 50 different kind of. It's the most popular, I think, on these k-means. Then there are some other popular naive Bayes classification, decision tree learning. Then let's talk about the decision tree learning. It is an algorithm of supervised learning. Under decision tree there are some other different type of algorithm available, but who is going to learn this? If you are building some advanced level AI from the scratch, or you want to answer question of a tough interview, who really want to know whether you have studied every advanced level knowledge, this is a very interesting picture, that is survival of the passenger on Titanic. So the gender divided into two types, male, female. What was their age? Like less than 9, they all died. Greater than or equal to less than 9 is the statistic of the other survivor. So this tree shows survival of the passenger in the Titanic, and from this we can summarize your chances of survival were good if you are a female and a male or whose age is less than 9, because the reason when Titanic was sinking, they used the lifeboat for the female and the younger male child. So the chances of surviving is possible when you are female and a younger male child. So this is an example of decision tree. And what is that? An interesting book. Title is Learning to Be Me. that is the initial introduction of this session. If you want to recreate a clone who is similar to you and want to teach everything what you know to that clone, then how you are going to classify your knowledge that represent your knowledge and structurally organize your knowledge? I think that. But what was the plot of this book? Maybe sometime I will try to read this, but at this moment I'm not finding it interesting. So there is a lot of books available in for this artificial intelligence. One is Unified Theory of Cognition. Cognition is like cognitive behavior. It is published in 1990, so it is very recent book. And the Unified Theory of Cognition and Cognitive Architecture. The research started by Newell on Unified Theory of Cognition represent a crucial element, and some of the AI pioneer contributed this in this book. That is the background. Let's see what is the content of this book. That is a random book published in say 1990, like 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. So by cognition we means what are your cognitive behavior. If I ask what kind of cognitive behavior do you have problem solving, decision making, routine action, memorizing things, learning this some new skill, then some of the skill become yours. Like skill, like you can read something because you already learned how to read. You can explain something because your mind has some knowledge, your memory has some knowledge, and you want to share this. There are some predictions, motor behavior, like you move your hand, move your different organ, etc. You have a language to express your thought. You have motivational skill, like you get motivated by something you see interesting. You have some emotion when you see something is wrong, not right, not correct. You have imaging capability, like you can see in picture some ideas. You have dreaming, like you thought something like a real story, but it is in the dream. And also daydream, like night dream and daydream are two different things. When at night you are not so much conscious, when you are daydreaming you are consciously thinking about something. So after arguing in favor of the development of unified theories of cognition, Newell puts forward a list of constraints to any unified theory, and that is a theory should explain how a mind does the following. So understanding your own mind's activity may be helpful to understand AI in a better way. Number one, behave flexibly as function to environment. So this line suggests you are in a situation, you understand there is a fire in the room, so basically your cognitive mind saying like out of this area, that is the environment is influencing you. Exhibiting the adaptation behavior, like you adapting a new language because you are in a new country, or adapting the culture of the country. Then operate in real time. Sometimes we need to take it in a real time. We don't have time to think about this. Operate a rich, complex, detailed environment. Use symbol and abstraction, like of telling everything in detail, like presenting the thing and making in some abstraction. Okay, I want to build a e-commerce website. The abstraction is like that. I need some program that is going to manage the inventory. There is some program that managing order. There is some program for reporting and some payment gateway processing. So these are like and symbolically representing the system like this. Using a language both natural and artificial. Learn from the environment and from the experience. Acquire capability through the development. Operate autonomously and when within the social community. Be self-aware and have a sense of self. Be realizable as a natural system. be constructible by an embryological growth process, then arise through evolution. So after arguing, okay, so these are the area in the unified theory book is explained. There is a blue brain project, which is a switch blue brain research. The project was founded in 2005 by Blue Brain Institute. So what is the reason for Blue Brain project? Is it like a artificial brain? Is it a thing? So it is my guess, but I'm not sure. I see there is a chronological history, and most recent scientists at Blue Brain project use alpha LKG. I don't understand this. Are these some software? Let's find out it in Google. So it is a brain research foundation basically. They have a website. Let's see what they are doing. Okay, mission was completed after developing all the main algorithm required to build a biological faithful digital copy of a brain. Wow, so it is very interesting. I was not aware of this kind of project. Generate the volume and dimension of the brain regions populated. So basically it segregated different tasks of human brain and want to mimic this in a artificial brain. And there is a progress is over 11 million lines of code, 18 million lines of code. Oh my god. And the model and the data are published in around 300 review paper and were packaged in an open data platform to leverage and continue advanced simulation of neuroscience. So this is Open Brain Institute. Very interesting, very nice graphics indeed. So there is a video that explains what is digital brain. And University of Jerusalem, University of Montreal, many organizations are involved in this. Very interesting that one book explained. Maybe in future I can do a little bit more study on this. So from like 1 hour of study in AI, we brush up some of the things, but I think if you want to make cash using AI knowledge, it is better to focus on the use of different tools, how you can use a tool and solve a problem, because theoretical knowledge will help you to get more confidence over the tool. On that note, let us conclude today's session. I hope in the next episode we'll discuss more. So there is actually no starting and ending of this kind of class, because you will continue digging deep into this knowledge area. See you in the next episode.